Originally released in 2006, the DMP, or the Defining Moments pack, was actually the very first ever Air Jordan sneaker pack, celebrating the first and fourth championship rings for Michael Jordan in 1991 and 1996, for the packaged price of $300 retail combined. Now, 14 years later, Jordan Brand released the Lonely Air Jordan 6, still named DMP for Defining Moments package, but it's not a pack, for $200, and some say that this release was actually a flop. So I wanted to go ahead and review these and discuss with you guys in this video what your thoughts are. Let's go ahead and get into it. What is going on, guys? Hess here, CollectiveKicks.com. If you guys would like to shop this week's top sneaker deals, check the link in the description, and happy shopping. If you guys are interested in the Adidas sale going on right now, 30% off Adidas US. Site-wide, it does stack with discounted items already, so you can get some pretty good savings out there. I have posted my top deals on Collective Kicks for those that want to see, so feel free to go out there and check those out. Probably one of the best deals is the ZX4000 4D for only $140 now instead of $350. Original retail on these were $350, and then they dropped them down to $200, and then now they are on sale for $140 in a couple different colorways, so worth checking that out in my opinion. These do fit a little bit snug on me actually, so if I were you, I would go up half a size. Anyways, back to the subject at hand, the Air Jordan 6 in the Defining Moments package, or the DMP colorway of the 6. It's primarily black upper, accents of gold, and it's a really beautiful shoe, don't get me wrong. It's a shoe that I wanted back in the day, struck out on in 2006. I still remember trying to get it from Compound Gallery in Portland, and there was definitely some demand for the Air Jordan 6. However, I think most of the demand was on the Air Jordan 11. At least that's the one that I primarily wanted. But this one was a silent one that just kind of went by. However, now Jordan Brand brought this one back by itself, which is an interesting move to do so. And I'll get into more of the conversation part about the flop in a second. I just want to do a general overview, and then we'll get into more of the discussion part. But quality is meh. It's okay. I mean, it's not amazing quality for whatever it's worth, but it's not terrible. Let's go ahead and show you guys the box first, though. I love the fact that it does have a unique box, black and gold. Here's the label. It does say Air Jordan 6 Retro DMP. Interesting call, considering it's not a package, and then also it's $200 on the box. Dope box, though. And then on the inside, the paper does say Unite on it with the Jumpman. It doesn't have any books or anything like that on the inside of this, like the original ones did, that had the crazy special packaging, which was a really cool feature for the first ever Jordan pack. Like, they had a really cool design that they actually had for the box, and just the whole presentation was dope. They did, however, bring the little tag back, which is a nice little plus here, and it says Air Jordan 6 in Roman numerals, June 12th, 1991, defining moment, MJ's first professional championship. So for those that didn't know, the Air Jordan 6 was actually the first one that he won a championship ring in. And for those that have not seen this pair of sneakers right here, it has a little ring on the laces here, which is kind of a rad little thing that they created. This was actually a really slept on pack in my opinion. We have the cigar and champagne pack and the CNC pack. Look at the leather on this one, though. Super amazing premium butter leather on here. This pack was just super dope, and I really love the execution of this one. Specifically, this is my favorite one out of all of the CNC packs that they've had, and the only one that I actually kept in my collection. But this one is actually a sample version, which is kind of interesting for those that didn't know. But so we know since then that Jordan Brand has celebrated his first ring a couple different ways, but this was the very first time that they gave nod to it. So the 6 and the 11s share the similarities of having the first of the three-peats in both of his three-peat runs that he had for the total of 6 championship rings. So just an overall look at the upper. It's black suede nubuck upper, the entire thing. Every single panel is the black suede, so there's no differences in like tumbled leather or anything else. It's just the black suede all throughout. For the tongue, you do have the neoprene, and then the neoprene over top of the laces here with the Jumpman on it, and then the little lace holder here with the Jumpman on it in gold. You got that traditional Air Jordan rubberized tongue. They do have the 2 vent holes here. On the back, you have the pull tab here, and it's a nice shiny gold here. As you work your way down to the midsole, unfortunately, it's not a shiny gold. It's kind of like a mustard gold, if you will. And I don't really love that, but it is what it is. It doesn't look terrible, to be honest, but I like the shine of this one right here. Anyway, you also have black on the midsole, and then you can see some of the clear soles from the bottom of the shoe along with a little accent around the air unit. As you work your way to the bottoms of the shoe, I love the way that they actually did this. You could see all the different crazy cutouts. I don't even know what it was, but back then the Air Jordan 5s and 6s with the clear soles was just the coolest thing to see. Again, I think it just made it look like that much more elevated for some reason, and it still remains to be one of those things that sneakerheads, including myself, really like to see, is clear soles on the bottom of a shoe. On the back, it's not an OG colorway. They just have a Jumpman and then a 23 underneath it. A lot of the older ones, they just have the Jumpman. They don't necessarily have the 23. So that is a little bit unique on this one. And as I mentioned, the quality is okay. It's not like crazy amazing. And for comparison, I do have the infrareds right here. So it's kind of like the infrared. The only difference is the infrared down here has like reflective underneath some of the ventilation holes on the shoe, and the DMP does not have that. So basically the difference of the two is the infrared hits are replaced by gold hits on this colorway. The other difference is this is infrared versus this one is black, and also the tongue has embroidered Jumpman on the infrared, and this one has like a plastic molded one over top of the neoprene material. But the infrared one is a classic and retailed at $200, and a lot of people would actually say that one was a flop in a sense from the last release as well, because they didn't really sell out, and they restocked a bazillion times. Resale was not really crazy high. You could get them for pretty much retail. And to transition the conversation to the flop side of this Air Jordan 6, I think that a lot of people just consider it a flop because the resale is not high. You might make $5 or $3 or lose $10 on a pair of these if you're trying to sell them. And so a lot of people are going to be like, well, you know, it shouldn't be about resale or whatever, but it's really hard to ignore the conversation point of resale on this shoe when you had the previous version that was selling for like $1,000 or $600 or whatever else it was before this one dropped, and then they bring it back in solo form, and now all of a sudden Jordan Brand's mass releasing this one, and it's available to everybody, and everybody can buy it for $200. Jordan Brand's a big winner here because the profit margins are really, really low, but Jordan Brand sell-through is really, really high. So they sold a lot at $200 a pair, and for those people that were looking to flip, thinking they were going to be worth $300 or $400, just because of the sheer history of the shoe from 14 years, it's not the case. You might make, again, $5 of the shoe. You might lose 10. You might lose 20, depending on the fees and everything associated with your sale. So I think that is one reason why a lot of people think this flop. As a sneaker connoisseur side of me, though, like I personally just don't focus on the resale side of it as much. This is one of those shoes that I was going to try to buy at retail for myself, and I wouldn't pay resale for the shoe, but I wanted to pay retail for the shoe and get it in my collection. Luckily, it wasn't too difficult to get. Got mine off of sneakers, which is rare. I never get anything off of sneakers, but I did get my pair, and I was happy that I got them. And I didn't really have any intent to sell them. If the shoe was actually worth more money, like $500-$600 after the release, and I lucked out and got a pair, it might be one that I would consider letting go of just to trade up and get a better colorway or a different colorway that I personally wanted. So ultimately, that's the game. Sometimes you buy something and you hold it. Sometimes if the resale is too high and it's too lucrative, then you want to get rid of it and get something else. Ultimately, though, there's some shoes that you buy just for personals and other ones that you buy just for the gamble. And this is one of those ones that I got for a personal. I think another reason why people might consider this a flop is because of the $200 price point. Obviously, the pack back then was $300 and it included both shoes. And this is kind of like the B side of the package. I think more people really wanted the Air Jordan 11. So it's like, why did you bring us back this one? Why didn't you bring us the pack? Especially if you're calling it a Defining Moments package, it would have been cool to actually have it as a package. But some people were still really happy that this one came out solo. The one thing I will mention, though, is it feels like Jordan Brand proves itself again that they'll go to extreme lengths to retro a coveted Air Jordan and just turn them into a massive GR. I think that that's one of those things that can get into the feelings of collectors out there that spend a lot of money on the original pairs just to have them release again in the same or better version than the previous retro. I think that's kind of hurtful, unfortunately, to those collectors. And back in the day, Jordan Brand would make one little thing different than the previous version. However, there's been more of a push to be more historically accurate in the sneaker retros, so they actually have been doing a better job making them look more true to the original form, which again can be something that original owners can be upset by. There's rumors that the Air Jordan 5 in the green colorway, the Oregon Duck PE, is actually going to be releasing to public. I don't know if it's going to be the exact same one as the PE version, but the fact that they're even talking about it being potentially the same one, it's just a matter of time until Jordan Brand can capitalize on the limited nature of select sneakers and bringing them back for the masses. I think it's a slippery slope, especially for those longtime collectors like myself that have been collecting for 10, 20 years or whatever it is. It's definitely something where they should probably throw a little caution out there and not just think about the almighty dollar in those situations. But I get it, at the same time, they are running a business, and this is a pair of shoes that I missed out on 14 years ago that I'm pretty happy that I actually have in my collection now. So whatever they're doing, it's working. I'm just here to report both sides of it, I guess, of the feels of a collector. And if you think about it, every single Air Jordan retro that's happened in the original colorways, from the Air Jordan 1 to the Air Jordan 13, has been retro numerous times at this point. I think almost every single colorway has had a retro treatment in some way, shape, or form, and some of them the biggest releases of the entire year, such as the Air Jordan 11s, where they mass produce 1 million plus pairs of the sneakers. But sometimes you got to capitalize on sneakers when the demand is extremely high. So did these actually flop? I mean, the reality of it is no. Obviously, massive scale releases like these will sell out eventually, even if they have multiple restocks and even if the resale is considered low. There's probably a lot of pairs that are going to be returned, and eventually when we can go into stores again, I'm sure some of these pairs will show up on outlets. Resale may go up, honestly, over long-term holds because it's a great colorway, but honestly, unless you're playing the long game, those people that need money for the next week's release, they're probably not going to be making it off of the shoe. Ultimately, more pairs equals more pairs on people's feet, which does equal happy customers, provided that the release is actually something that they did a good job on. And in this case, I think they did a pretty good job on it. It's suede nubuck material, but it's a really good looking shoe and it's really clean, and simple color blocking on it is great. It's one that's very, very wearable. I think also the $200 price point is better than $250. And considering you get a custom box along with the dog tags, it is a pretty decent pair of sneakers for $200 instead of an upcharged price. But I will say it would be awesome if they did release the Air Jordan 11s as well. Would you guys actually want to see an Air Jordan 11 retro as well? Is it something you think that you would be interested in buying, even though it's fairly similar to the Concords, but it is not a Concord, it is different. It's definitely the one that I wanted back in the day, so I would definitely welcome like a holiday Air Jordan 11 DMP release. Hint, hint, Jordan brand, maybe make that happen eventually. But then you can kind of create your own pack, and I think that that would be more appropriate considering the nature of this being a pack. So that brings me to the question of the day for you guys. Like, should Jordan Brand make more packaged Air Jordans where you buy 2 different shoes in one box? Or do you like the ability to buy them solo like this pair right here? If you do like an Air Jordan pack, drop a comment on what Air Jordan pack you'd like to see. Anyways, if you guys are interested in buying a pair of these, I will link a couple sites in the description for those looking. Did you guys cop them? Did you guys keep them or not? Drop a comment and let other people know as well. Subscribe if you guys are new to my channel or have not subscribed yet. Hit that notification bell to be notified of when my videos are posted. And we hopefully will see you guys for some more videos very soon. Peace, guys.